What's Dewey?
It's the base. LOSO__G. DK, the engineer.
It's your boy, Let Have the T, B4V. You go, boy.
It's the base.
Rundown.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right, so kick things off with some good news. Some rare good news here on the on the rundown. Unfortunately, with the Rayshard Brooks killing from a few weeks ago, like we covered in the last episode, the cops have been charged. I think they'll be indicted pretty soon, and hopefully a trial and conviction will materialize from that. But some local businesses in Atlanta, some restaurants. I know one of them was Big Dave's Cheesesteaks and Slutty Vegan. Yes, that's the name of that is the name of the restaurant. Slutty Vegan. They make burgers and like vegan plant-based food and stuff like that. But they rallied together with a couple other local restaurants in Atlanta, and basically they provided a brand new car and full paid tuition to Clark Atlanta for all the children of Rayshard Brooks's widow. So I think that was really dope on their part, just doing something beautiful and magical in light of something so tragic of this senseless murder that took place. So that was dope. I saw the picture in my feed, and then I watched the video on TMZ, and it was just beautiful. That definitely made we're getting all this negative news daily of these cops are being exposed, these Karens are being exposed, these racists are being exposed, and for us, all people of color, men of color, it's refreshing when you can actually see some that's actually really dope that people pulled together and did something amazing.
No, that is pretty dope. I mean, it's always good to have some good news, but as usual, if it bleeds, it leads. So, I mean,
Facts.
That's just the nature of the beast.
I mean, that's pretty dope. It ain't gonna bring back a father, but at least, it's better than, I guess, nothing. I don't even know, man, but I mean, some good news in light of everything. All right. Speaking of Florida.
Florida.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Welcome to My House is playing in the background of this story. It's weird to me. I gotta send you the video from today. We'll attach that to this episode. They were in Palm Beach, Florida. They just passed a law that masks are mandatory now. If you go which is mind-boggling that it wasn't the case before, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, it's mandatory now in Palm Beach County because they're part of this 4,049 spike in the state, and they were having a town hall or something like that, and these crazy white wing.
Oh my god!
Yes, these crazy. Okay, so basically these crazy fundamentalists, and I'm a Christian, so anytime I see the crazies come out, I cringe because it's this is not what it's about at all. It's so flagrantly wrong. But it was 3 or 4 of them. It was on BBC, it was on CNN. And so they're doing this town hall, and all the crazies are just you're ruining God's breathing system. You guys should be in jail, and all of you up there shouldn't have a job, and you're all smiling behind your masks, and you should be in the psych ward, and you guys should go back to school. They're talking down to people with PhDs.
And this is just because
this is all because they're being told that that they can now they can be arrested or they can be denied service at certain public places if they don't show up with a mask on. And just that first world entitlement, man. And yes, all three were women, all 3 were white. and they're just it leads back to the vaccination stuff because they were arguing about the kids having to wear masks possibly when school reopens. And they were talking, they're going to be citizen arrests. You know, we're more knowledgeable now than ever. Just because they read a couple articles on Google search or Reddit or whatever.
They just saw memes. Who are you kidding?
Or just saw some memes.
No one does any more research than a meme.
Yeah.
That's a new research. What's your research? My Twitter feed?
I mean, you could confirm anything.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man.
Just put down what you believe in Google, and it'll feed you back something. It's like a confirmation device machine. Like that's what Google is. So you could be like, yeah, coronavirus is a hoax. So look what's going to pop up. You know,
just read the first 3 items.
Yeah, right. And it's funny because one of those items will probably like refute what they're thinking, but they'll just ignore that. That's a part of the propaganda. That's a part of the propaganda. It's like people don't see that line of thinking. It's like anything that doesn't agree with my little conspiracy is fucking misguided, or it's a plant, or you know, this is all part of the plan. It's dangerous thinking because you really have to be yanked out of that feedback loop of thinking. It's nuts, bro.
You know what I've been wondering though this whole time, if 5G caused the COVID.
Well, that was a part of it.
Why did people forget about that? Why did people forget about that? Did we get rid of all the fucking 5G towers?
That was a part of the lunacy. Like the second lady got up there and she's just like, yeah, the 5G is the real culprit here, and why aren't the towers going?
All of a sudden, bro. It's like a health expert.
And it's funny. Ask these people what 5G is, and I guarantee you they couldn't tell you. I guarantee you, like, this isn't some new shit that like didn't exist before. Like 5G networks have existed. Like it's, you know, it's not new, bro.
I'd watched something on Netflix. It was a documentary that, timing wise, they filmed this last year, and really like over the last 2 or 3 years. It was like preparing for a pandemic worldwide. So basically, it was an amazing documentary. I'm pretty sure. Me and Ed, we talked about it off camera, and so it followed different pandemics that were going on all over the world. You know, Ebola, bird flu, swine flu, so forth and so on. It was just so funny to me how different countries and different areas they look at pandemics and they plan and prepare for pandemics, and they look at it through a different lens. And I feel like all the freedom that Americans are allotted, and a lot of the validation comes from the Google search. And one part that really cracked me up was there was a whole episode dedicated toward the anti-vaccinators, like out in Oregon. Like there was a big coalition about these freaking homeschooling, free-spirited moms, mostly white, who just refused to send their kids to school because there was a measles outbreak in Oregon it was one of the worst outbreaks since like the Great Depression. Like a whole bunch of kids caught measles and a whole bunch of kids died from it. And measles is just like polio. It's just like whooping cough. Like these are ancient diseases that have vaccines, that have solutions for them. But again, these new age vaccination mom psychos are just like, no, my kid, if my kid is vaccinated, that is going to infringe upon their God-given constitutional rights.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling.
It is. It's like, I mean, the idea of freedom, it's like, I guess you have the freedom to let your kids die, I guess. I guess that's a part of it.
I guess that's not what it is. I guess so.
I guess, you know, it's just really weird how, you know, I mean, I guess why some people would be skeptical of like medicine and vaccines and things like that. And my thing is just like, you know, if you're so skeptical, why don't you actually do the research? And, you know, not many people, A, know how to do research, or B, would actually do the research.
Yeah. You know? They're doing Google searches. Like we said, that's their research. The Google searches, the articles from fellow wonky thinkers. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry, I'm going to take the word over someone with a PhD, with dissertations,
Bro, no,
with years of experience, I'm gonna take that.
They're part of the system, bro.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll take that over a Google search. I'm sorry, that's just me. They're part of the machine.
Mike, bullshit's a feedback loop, bro, and it's you know
that is true. That's facts right there.
It's the more shit that you pile up, the harder it is to dig your way out, man. It's nuts, and it's crazy because now you have states, now you have Texas, Arizona, even California, who I guess in the outset handled it well, but the people didn't, you know, respect the social distancing, etc. Like they're locking down. I'm pretty sure a couple other states are locking down too. Like,
Texas, Florida? No, Texas and California.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Florida's probably next.
And Texas, come on, bro. There's way too much space. It's super easy to social distance, bro. You're living in a fucking country, bro. Like every it could be like 10 acres a person. Like, what are you doing?
The fact that it's the summer and I understand people want to get out. People want to go. They want to go to the beach. They want to go swimming. They want to travel. They want to go for a drive. They want to eat outside. I get that. That's the culture.
I want to eat outside.
Yeah, I definitely want to eat freaking oxtail outside. I do, but you know, there's a pandemic going on, so I can't really do that right now. I'll eat oxtail inside.
All right, but
no big deal.
But for real, can you see the pandemic?
We talked about this with the COVID glasses. Yo, if you need to like make that happen, bro.
Bro, honestly, I'm pretty sure I could bullshit COVID glasses and sell it. People would definitely buy it.
You could just make it show you the frequencies closest to 5G, so that it looks like COVID is just coming from the towers.
Oh,
like literally, I'll sell sunglasses and I'll sell a hat, and on all the packages, I'll just have like the 5G symbol but X'd out, so they know it's official.
Oh my god! Do it! You're gonna
I have the American Eagle on all of them. You know, freedom labeled.
Before you catch a Fed charge, you're gonna make a lot of money, bro. I'm telling you.
That shit is crazy, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's like wishful thinking is that we're over. It's like, and ironically, like New York is like the safest place to be now when it comes to COVID relative to the rest of the nation, and it was the exact opposite for the longest.
That is true.
Like that's the part. But I mean, I'm afraid that it'll flip. I'm definitely afraid that it'll flip because people are just like, I don't even know, bro. Like more than a 180. I know no other number would make sense, but it's like people are getting closer than they did before the pandemic. Like people are fucking, you know, doing the belly to belly, just scored a touchdown, fucking high fiving. Like it's crazy, bro.
We got a ways to go. That's just the facts, man. And again, this land of the free is these are times where I was like, yo, this is a dictatorship. I don't think we'd be.
Bro, it's selfish, bro. It's selfish. Like I definitely do appreciate the sort of, you know, freedom, do it yourself mindset that, you know, that's a part of American culture, but the flip side is like this extreme disregard for everyone else, which is it's just taken way too far. Like you could have your freedom and not jeopardize the freedom of others, you know?
Yay, America.
Holla. America, fuck yeah. So now moving on to other stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's Mammy.
Oh my god. Well, it started with Aunt Jemima, and then it progressed into Mrs. Butterworth, Uncle Ben's rice, the cream of wheat guy. I completely forgot about that guy. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Zatarans guy too.
No, not the Zatarans guy. Not the Zatarans guy.
But these companies that have been around for over a century, some of them, Aunt Jemima's been around for about 130 years, and a lot of these brands that are finally rethinking the imagery, This is so long overdue. And again, black people have been complaining. This is another one of the things that we've, I guess, been complaining about that has finally caught the attention of people. It's just like, I just shake my head at it because the Republican, I think for Turning Point or whatnot, was just like, Aunt Jemima represents the American dream. She was a former slave who started her own company, and I know Fab saw it.
Yo, what?
Bro, what?
I was like, what if, no. The sheer foolishness of that, to believe that a menstrual character, because that's what to give some background here of the two main characters. First, Aunt Jemima. She was a menstrual character. So the mammy figure is the subservient current slave or former slave who's just the domestic worker who does all the cooking, who does the breastfeeding on most occasions. Yeah. That is the help, the hired help of the wealthy or middle class white family. So, and again, that image, black women aren't mammies anymore. Black women are they're not cooks anymore. They're owners now. The restaurant owners. They're business women. They're lawyers. They're doctors. They're journalists. They're TV personalities. We're so beyond that character. Why it was still around blows my mind.
Why they're still using it to push forth. It's a
stereotype.
We could sit here and run through fucking how many more other stereotypical concepts and companies they have. Like, it's fucking crazy, bro. Like,
I think it's clearly like long fucking overdue.
130 years.
They're not doing it. I don't believe anyone's doing it because it's long overdue. They're doing it because of the Black Lives Matter movement, and because they're trying to make it seem like they're gonna do something like long term. Like that, it's cool. It's long overdue. But again, I want to go back to like, if you really value diversity, you really value Black lives, you better be paying more fucking money to your employees. You better be hiring more, and you better be putting money behind things. Like, money talks. And that's the thing that, like,
agreed.
I don't, it's glad that this is done, but it's like, it wasn't because you had like a change of conscience.
They're paying
because pressure.
They're paying the fucking streets as if that's good enough, bro.
Agreed. Agreed. That's exactly what's going on.
Black Lives Matter on a road and closing the road down. Like, yo, we did.
See, we got y'all. See, we got y'all.
See, we got y'all. Yo, look. I gave y'all a whole street, bro.
I mean, I think like the most egregious examples of this aren't even being addressed. Like, and they don't necessarily involve black people. Like the Redskins, the Indians, bro. A literal team called the Indians, and it's like Chief Wahoo.
They changed their logo. At least give them that. They haven't changed the name of the team, but at least they got rid of Chief Wahoo, I think last year or the year before.
Oh,
you don't see. Yeah, you don't see him anymore.
2019. Oh yes.
Yes, the Cleveland Indians, the baseball team, they got rid of Chief Wahoo about 2 years ago. But the Redskins are just not. They're just dug in. They got rid of their racist former owner, who was the last to integrate in the NFL. They got rid of his statue. But okay, can you at least change the name of your team though?
The Indian, cool if you want Indians, just be like, accurate. Have like Gandhi as the mascot, bro. Have accurate. Put like Vishnu or some. And I mean, I guess I'm pretty indifferent either way. Like I don't really give a fuck if Jemima exists or not. Like this. It's not really on my radar, but like, come on, bro. Like the Redskins, that's just super egregious. That's like having the team called the Coloreds.
The Negroes.
Exactly.
The Brooklyn Negroes.
The New York Negroes.
Negroes.
The Black.
I remember I was explaining why the Uncle Ben character, because my mom didn't understand it, and a lot of my white friends didn't understand what would happen, especially post-slavery Reconstruction. A lot of these older slaves, they had no place to go. They've been there. They're like 60, 70, 80 years old. And what a lot of these families would do, these white families who were attached emotionally to these older slaves, kind of just like a pet dog, that you just don't want to give away or put down, they'd keep these older slaves and just would keep them around like an old dog or like an old cat. And that old subservient, like you think back to freaking Django. Remember Django? Samuel Jackson's character? Like the character he embodied was a very, very, very normal figure during post-slavery and during slavery.
Sam Jackson's character?
Yeah, Sam Jackson's character in Django. That older slave that's been around, who grew up on that plantation, who loves his massa, loves the family.
It goes back to that quote, the consistent quote that Harriet Tubman said. She said, I would have saved more slaves if niggas knew they was slaves. She didn't say niggas. I would have slaves if they knew they were slaves. Like these people feel like they're like, yo.
Yes.
I get treated well. I don't know what you talking. You might get beat every day. I only get beat on Sundays, so I don't know what you talking.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like I remember reading a story. I don't remember the guy's name, but there's a slave who abolitionists sort of like quote unquote like liberated, right? Mm-hmm. It was like a group of, I don't know if they were affiliated with Harriet Tubman, but it was like a mix of black and white abolitionists that got freed a bunch of slaves and got this guy all the way up to Canada. And he went through this whole journey just to get back to his plantation. Like he was all the way in Canada and he went all the way back. And then it was because it was like, this was his life. He just accepted his part in life, kind of like, Stockholm syndrome to the max. It is very interesting. And that was like not an uncommon scenario of people getting out and then being like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
which is
like,
why,
that's it.
Which is why I wish the Harriet Tubman movie was more like John Wick. Because she was shooting niggas trying to. You want to go
Harriet Tubman, Vampire Hunter.
Right, bro, that would be the goofiest movie ever.
Harriet
really like John Wick.
Cross Lincoln.
John Wick.
She's like dual wielding.
Harriet Wick now streaming on Amazon Prime.
I mean, honestly, if they had a Django too, I mean, they could just have her as a character, just make her like a fucking kung fu master or some shit.
She was fully shooting people who were like, you know what? I kind of want to go back. You kind of want to what? Come take a walk with me.
Exactly.
Booming niggas like, yo, you're not messing up this railroad, bro.
I believe it. But,
speaking of disappointments.
Oh my goodness, the Trump rally. I want to give a special shout out to F Society, Generation Z. They ruined Trump's rally, and the way they did it was just so Mr. Robot style. It was hilarious. Okay, so basically, the goal of the Juneteenth for our viewers and listeners who saw us on episode 2 and checked us out on episode 2. The goal of the rally was to be about 20,000. That's what they settled on. Originally, it was going to be bigger, but COVID ruined that. Originally, it was going to be outdoors. COVID ruined that too. That's not a good idea either. But so they settled on a venue in Oklahoma of about 19,000, roughly under 20,000. So So Trump was promoting it, and his people and his group, they were promoting it all week. Like, yeah, we got like 1 million people registered for a 19,000 seat venue. That's neither here nor there. 1 million and 19,000 are kind of different. So they were making it seem like it was going to be packed. It was going to be wall to wall, standing room only. So what Generation Z, the F Society, did. And a bunch of K-pop fans as well. They bought up a whole bunch of tickets for the event with no intention of going to the event. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And as a result, they had altogether about just under 6,000 people were at the event, and you could see from the pictures that it was ridiculous. Trump's people, his group, his managers, or whatever, they were pumping out all these fake numbers that no, we're sold out. it's going to be 15,000, 18,000, 19 people. We're good. We're good. We're good. Talk about fake news coming home to roost. Like, they were promoting that we sold a bunch of tickets. We're good. We're good. No, you're not good.
I mean, a lot of people who showed up also got turned down. I saw a video of some people getting turned down because they had like Black Lives Matter shirts. They had various signs, things like that, and they were, even though they had tickets, they were uninvited.
Some people on the Trump campaign got COVID.
Yeah,
they ended up having to cancel the outdoor events. That shit is wild.
Well, they were planning not just that rally, but they were planning like some side rallies too, like Summer Jam or whatever. Like, they were gonna have a main stage and like a couple.
They're culturally appropriating that too.
I know. But yeah, like, you can't. Again, this is just the defiance, and we were talking about the ignorance here. Understanding that, listen, this pandemic hasn't gone anywhere. So to plan something that is obviously going to expose a lot of people, there's not going to be social distancing with 19,000 plus people all in one area, wall to wall, standing room only. It's not a good idea. It's not. But again, that's just the arrogance of the MAGA message. So
before this COVID shit kicked off, I would be convinced that he's winning by a landslide. But now, he's going way down in the polls. Even his own base, like, old school Republicans, that of the George Bush Senior type, Nixon type, they're not really into Trump's rhetoric. A lot of people are just tired of him, and he's fumbling, stumbling. He's being more of an asshole, and it's kind of catching up to him. So he'll always have that loyal, base of people who just want to just flip the Monopoly table, right? But I don't know. It's not looking good. But on the other side, he's going against someone with dementia who likes to women. So
smell women's hair.
It's not looking good for America. No matter what, it's not looking good, bro.
Do you think he'll be a one term? You think he'll win?
I think the only way he wins is if people fall for the same deal that he did with Hillary, and I don't think they will this time because they're just that fed up with it. Because again, I've said this before. I'll keep saying it anytime anybody asks me how Trump won. Trump did not win because he was a great politician and because he had all these great policies and he sold people on a lie, which is part of what he did. That's not why he won. He won because he convinced people that Hillary was terrible, was worse than him.
Yeah,
that's how he won. He was like, "Listen, I know, like I'm me, and this is what you're gonna get. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Like, but worse.
But do you really want crook? You want? I'm a crook. I'm crooked. I'll tell you, I'm crooked. But do you want somebody that is even more crooked and is not gonna tell you that she's crooked?
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do?" And people were just like, "All right, well, we're just not gonna vote."
And she still won the popular vote.
And she still won the popular vote by a very wide margin. But his people did what they needed to do in the swing states. Yeah. Part of me still thinks he cheated with Ukraine and Russia. I'm not going to get into that. But aside from that, what is fact, though, is a bunch of people didn't vote. A bunch of people didn't vote. And a lot of critical states like Ohio, like Pennsylvania, that were really, really important in the grand scheme of things, electoral vote-wise. That's why he won. He won all the swing states, all the 50. Just like you want to make a sports analogy, all the 50-50 balls that like the determined possession in like a key one possession game. He won all the close ones. That's why he won. And people weren't voting because they were just like, you know what? We're not voting for Hillary. We're not voting for him. Well, that helped them.
They're like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of an American thing too. I think among the developed world, we have some of the lowest voting rates. Like we just don't fucking vote, it's just a part of the culture. Like you have some places where you're penalized if you don't vote. Like you get fined if you don't vote. Other places make it really easy to just mail in your ballots. Like that's just what you do. But America is kind of like a patchwork. It's like 50 individual sort of, municipalities under this one umbrella.
That's a perfect way to put it.
It's really hard to get it's really hard to change shit, bro. Like it's really hard, even when it comes to electoral college. Not saying I'm necessarily against it, but things like, things of that nature. It's just like we're an antique, bro, and it's hard for shit to change in that regard. But you can blame people for not voting, but on the other hand, it's like I get it. Like, like it makes sense.
Did you guys vote?
I'm gonna vote this time. The only reason why I didn't vote, because I moved from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, and I didn't switch over my registration in time, so I wasn't eligible. But I'm registered now. I registered 2 weeks ago at a Black Lives Matter event, which a lot of people don't realize. It's a beautiful thing that happens at these BLM rallies. They do voter registration. That's a big thing, because it's like, yo, you guys want to affect change? Who here is registered? Who here knows where the polling station is? Like, they have these things at these rallies. It's not just people looting and shooting and fighting the police with tear gas and this, that, and the third. There's a lot of important things that go on at these rallies. So at the rally I went to, I got registered, and I'm definitely going to vote this time around. I would have voted last time, but like I said, it was out of my control. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't vote in the primaries this Tuesday just because I'm not. So in New York, it's like you have to be a registered Democrat or Republican or whatever to vote in the primary. And not only that, but you have to it's something crazy. You have to change your affiliation something like months in advance, like way in advance. So if you're just like a couple of months, I want to vote in this primary. I want to, let's say, vote for Bernie for this Democratic, primary for whatever reason. If you didn't do it way in the past, I forgot how many months it is, but it's a while, then you can't do it. You're just kind of fucked. So, but I'm definitely voting this election. I just need to get up on local politics. I'm just very vaguely aware of what's going on around me. I think local politics is way more important.
It is. It absolutely is.
And I'm only vaguely aware. Like, I only know some names. Like, I know my senator. I don't really know, who the fuck is on the city council, shit like that. So it's something I definitely really need to get up on.
Same, sir. When your articles are found, I'll link them to you.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is good is that it's the same case for every state. But if people don't know, is that, what bills are on the table, and a bill is just, let's just say it's a law before it becomes a law, before it's signed into law. A bill is just a set of things that are put forth to become a law in the future, but isn't law yet. Like, it's public knowledge what bills are on the table. So like in New York recently, there's that bill to release cops' disciplinary records, right? There was a law way back that said that disciplinary records for cops are sealed, right? Now there's a bill that's going to be signed into law that's going to overturn the old law. So, if you want to see what's going on, you could definitely see. You just got to go on your state website and just dig a little. But it's all public knowledge. People say, "Oh yeah, law is this, law is that." What laws are they passing? This, that, and the third. I'm like, bro, it's public knowledge if you just look. So,
I'm just a bill. Yes.
Yeah, literally.
Schoolhouse Rock up in this mug.
Yeah,
yes.
I did that shit. Yeah.
So speaking of politics and people that don't give a fuck.
Okay, Segway King. Look at you.
Segway God over here.
Segway.
Hey.
This was so much fun, man, when I saw this in my feed.
Oh yeah, that shit is crazy.
Go home, Connie. Okay, so I'll tee it up. So basically, this was in Louisiana. This was in Louisiana, I believe, in Baton Rouge. There was like oh my! So there was a. I think this was another town hall meeting, or this was a meeting with local officials or board of education, something along that. They were trying to change. They're getting ready to change the name of a prominent high school from Robert E. Lee High School. They wanted to change it because obviously Robert E. Lee, for those who don't know, he was the head of the leader of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. It's his statue has been torn down all over the country, and there's a lot of high schools named after Robert E. Lee, especially in the South. A lot. You guys can look it up. I don't know the number offhand, but this particular high school was ready to vote, put it to a vote, and finally get it out of there. So one of the board members, this white lady named Connie, during the meeting, she was on Amazon or whatever shopping. She's shopping for dresses, and I guess it was like a Zoom chat. So the guy who was that activist, he's a member of the he's a member of town. I think he has a child that goes to the school or whatever. He calls her out and was like, "Are you freaking serious? You're really shopping right now?"
Time out. In her defense, maybe she was so ahead of the curve that she already said, "You know what? This Robert E. Lee shit is stupid. You know what? I'm gonna just shop. It's not even like I already know. I agree with you, sir. Like, you know, like maybe it's one of those."
I'm trying
you make me sick, bro. Seriously.
Maybe it's one of those.
You're so basura. I swear. It's ridiculous.
Oh, basura.
My bad.
We'll go speaking Italian over here. What the fuck?
Italian.
You know it's not Italian, bro.
Yo, come get this guy. Come get this guy.
French in my American country. Cut it out.
Sucios.
Says sucio. Terrible. So, but anyway, this guy calls her out. She gets up and she walks out of the meeting. And now
what else can you do?
What else can you do?
Walk is shame too. Like credit to her. At least she left. Like, you know, most people would have just stayed or tried to defend themselves. She just left. I'm like, all right, like that's appropriate.
Man, click.
There was a whole hashtag throughout the country, not just throughout Louisiana, calling for her. Connie, go home. That was the hashtag. It was calling for her to resign. And she apologized, of course. She did the racist moonwalk. That's what I call it, the racist moonwalk. And she apologized, and it's like, yo, I'll be better, and I'll do better, and I take these matters seriously, and all the other nonsense. And
she didn't resign from the school board.
They're asking for her to resign from the school board. I don't know if she has resigned from the school board, but
because I would have just resigned. Why
you gotta ask?
Like, I wouldn't subject myself to that kind of fucking embarrassment. I would just move to a different county.
If she's tenured, she has to get her salary anyway. So it's not even a situation of money wise. So yeah,
no, then she has to work for us.
I think the high school is like the majority black. I think Robert E. Lee High School.
Most of them. Most of the white named high schools is full of just black. Like,
this particular school is like 81% black, and the activist was talking about that. He was like, "Listen, this situation affects our kids like more than people even realize. So this is an important matter, and for her to be shopping." While they're trying to discuss this, and I think it's egregious.
He was like this. Oh, that's crazy, bro. Wow. We leave the South. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know how I felt, bro.
Yeah, she should have used her smartphone. She should have been way more subtle, bro.
That's what you would have done. That's what you would have done.
That's just real egregious. She's on this, and that screen is bright as fuck.
OD bright.
You know, white background. It's like you really even if you didn't get caught by him, you didn't think someone was gonna call you out at some point. Like, come on, bro. Like, at least if you do fuckery, be subtle.
Nah, that's not Amazon. Like,
is she shopping on Amazon?
Like
Nordstrom.
Neiman Marcus.
Nordstrom Rack.
So, speaking of people whose names start with Q, time for another Karen moment.
This one was recently. It happened in Sacramento, and I believe this is a Wawa or a 7-Eleven or a gas station or something.
They got Wawas on the West Coast? What the fuck?
What?
Wow.
So, this lady, I think she said something, she cut in front of this black lady or she disrespected her somehow. And of course this this woman of color wasn't going to stand for it. Not in 2020.
Not now.
It's going to stand for. It's not.
So they were going back and forth for a while, and at some point, this Sacramento Karen, she got bold enough to drop a nigger in there, and this lady was like, listen, she dared her. She's like, I swear on everything. And you know, when black people say they swear on their kids or they swear on a certain set of individuals or items, that is bond, bro. They're gonna go through with it.
They have to respect that swear.
They have gotta respect that swear. So she warned her. She's like, I dare you. I dare you to say nigger one more time. And the lady, the Karen, she just gathered herself and she said it loud too, with the hard R. With her chest. Yep. Oh, man. And then this black female, she gave her a 25-piece extra crispy with 2 sides and 4 biscuits and a cake. And knocked her, bro. She cleaned her up, man. Oh my God.
Okay. Play the video. And it sucks. It sucks too because if she actually beat her ass, like that's definitely a charge. That's definitely multiple charges.
I keep telling you how we have this weird instinctual contract we have to sign that doesn't allow people to call us nigga.
Michael Che.
And we have to win too.
Yes. Shout out to Michael Che.
We have to
imagine you get called the N-word and it's fucking Brock Lesnar. Like, what are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, what you gonna do about that?
Oh man.
Say you're right. You're correct. Sir.
I might vandalize his car, but
thank you, sir.
Like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, Mr. Lesnar.
But I have to object.
Well, yeah, this took place in Sacramento, California, and pretty sure she was bloody afterward. I don't know if there was blood through the mask, but she I think she'll think twice about calling women of color the N-word.
No, knowing people like that, she's probably gonna sue.
Yeah.
Like that. And the sad part is that she probably win.
It's on camera. She definitely win.
But you know.
Yo, but I'm still trying to like I try to find more information on this and try to like understand the words a little bit better. Like, what the fuck ticked her off? I guess somebody got cut, and then like, which is OD if you're gonna fight over that shit,
right?
Period. Her dropping the M-bomb is where I'm like, nah, bro. That's why. You should have just kept saying your other shit. You shouldn't have said anything.
Now that
otherwise, bro, getting cut off, no big deal. Happens all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
I've avoided fights. Like, I'll never forget during Christmas shopping it was like the Dollar Tree. This guy wanted to fight me because I got in front of him.
I took the last gum
in the checkout line. When truth be told, I just stepped out of line to go grab some more tape or grab a card and jump right back in line. And mind you, I was there with my brother who's 6'4" and my cousin who's about 6'3", and it was just him. We would have ran down on him, but there's no point in doing that at the Dollar Tree on Christmas Eve. It's just not worth it. So I just let it go.
Yeah, you can just keep moving.
So I just kept it moving. It wasn't that serious, but it was another black guy too. Now, had it been a white guy who dropped an N-bomb, who knows?
People get mad, and people are irrational. So, you can get away with that somewhat years ago. Where racism was much more explicit and open, but nowadays, nah, bro. and it's like you should be way less concerned about the ass beating because whatever, you get in a fight, whatever. But it's like the social backlash. Like once your shit is on social media, you're done, bro.
You're getting killed.
Oh yeah,
you're done. Like your reputation is done.
The cancel aspect of it, to me, that's my favorite part of it. I'm with Dave Chappelle. Cancel culture is definitely out of control. Facts there. And again, I'm not famous, so I don't know that aspect of it.
Yeah, we can drop bombs. We're not famous, so we can say shit like that. But 10 years from now,
one of us could.
10 years from now is going to be over.
Facts.
Yeah, man. They're gonna get us for everything we said, every little bullshit.
I'm getting killed.
I'm canceling myself.
We go back to
I'm just glad that there was no cameras when I was in middle school. Like smartphones and shit like that. Wow. Middle school and high school, bro. Son, straight from middle school to high school, even in college, bro, the amount of ridiculous nonsense that I would say was OD, just for the sake of a laugh.
At GA, dog, you were just you were a Dominican Klansman, bro. I swear. I loved it. I loved it because you're from New York, so I get it. I'm like, okay, like you kind of get past there, but we would play off of it. I still have you saved in my phone as Mexican, like so.
Not Mexican, motherfucker. But speaking, I guess, of more serious situations,
it's get dark.
Oh no, it's gonna get dark, bro.
Dark and heavy. Yo, this shit is scary.
Yo, yeah, this is terrifying, honestly.
Wait, hold on. What's that source? What's the source?
This was where did I get this one from? I want to say I got this from leftvoice.org.
So the only thing that I've heard of recently was them finding somebody in Fort Tryon up in Washington Heights, finding somebody hanging from one of the trees. And then just random memes of it, like of other people being in the same situation, getting lynched, but specifically like it just being passed off as like suicides, or it being dismissed, I guess, is the impression I'm getting, as suicides as opposed to having like an ongoing investigation. Now,
right,
this is OD, but I don't know in general, if this kind of happens still, already, and it's always swept under the rug, and now is that it's creeping out, I don't know if any of y'all know if that's the situation. But besides the point, this shit is wild, son. I don't think if you hang anybody from a tree, especially if you're fucking black, that shit is a fucking statement, son. No? Or am I crazy? It can't. That's not easy. There's other ways to kill people. You're not going to want to go through the trouble of hanging them.
You're not crazy. What's crazy is that they're trying to pass it off as all of these are suicides. Now, and the thing is, black people and people of color, which includes all of us, we're already super, super skeptical about stuff being passed off as suicide. With Kendrick Johnson and his situation with the missing organs, that was passed off as a suicide, or similar, or an accidental death, or accidental murder.
That's an egregious example. That's straight up like conspiracy fuel.
Yeah, exactly. Or some of the other things we've talked about on this season of Rundown, of the random sense that really were. It's foul play. It's just as clear as day with the Tamla Harris who fell at the slumber party. That was passed off as a suicide. Like come on, like a murder is murder, And what's scary is again that this is happening now. This is happening in a combination of cities as well as rural communities. So you can't say it's either or. Like, oh, this is only happening down south, out in the backwoods, where it originated. No, this is freaking happening in freaking Texas, parts of Texas that are heavily populated. Or why do you say Washington Heights, New York, that's heavily populated. So, this is.
I saw a picture of where it was that they hung the guy. Because a whole bunch of people gathered around there, and it's just like, my man, I used to go walking through there and chilling with my friends when I was younger and shit like that. Like that shit could have been any of us, my man.
Say that it's just not like a freaking neo-Nazi vigilante group that's just going around and just scooping up black people or Spanish people, like when they're just walking home or coming off of work. Like that be nuts if that's actually
Spanish people are white.
Right? Sure.
I mean, it just goes back to the past where a lot of lynchings, once lynchings weren't, accepted, I guess, as a part of civilized society, a lot of them were ruled suicides. Now, I just think there just should be thorough investigations because, you know, suicides happen. You know, people don't know this, but suicides are way more common than homicides. Like,
that is true. That is very true.
Like, I think it's almost 3-to-1 suicide to homicide rate, right? Or 2-to-1, something like that. But the fact that these aren't being investigated and just being, especially now, like you said before, especially just being hand waved to suicides, you know, it's not acceptable. And I would think that, you know, if I was any sort of police department jurisdiction that doesn't want to, you know, get any more heat, that actually wants to, you know, move things forward, make all these thorough investigations, you know, and make the findings public and as transparent as possible, you know, without jeopardizing the investigation, of course. But like, it just seems like, well, he killed himself. He just, you know, he's just hanging. Like, that's just it. And it's like, it's super lazy. And at best, like, it's way worse than lazy. It's probably malicious, but like even
that just makes me more skeptical, bro. Like, you know, you can't wave something and tell me it doesn't remind you of every cop movie in the fucking 80s and early 90s and shit like that. Like that scenario, oh, a crime happened. Yeah, forget about it. It's their thing.
It's probably a suicide.
It's a suicide. Stop looking into it. What did I tell you, chump?
Nah, I mean, that imitates art, bro. So they're getting it from somewhere. They're getting these storylines from somewhere.
Oh, the cop movies?
Yeah.
No, that shit is wild, bro. Like, I hope that shit doesn't go on, but I feel like we're going to get more of these, man. Maybe because maybe these things are just happening in the same, you know, and then it's just like, now that we have cameras, now that people are a little bit more attentive, now that there's more, you know, more woke people going around and shit like that, that maybe it's just, we're seeing it more frequently.
If it is a group that's doing it, eventually they're going to get, I have more faith that they'll be exposed by F Society or by somebody on their camera phone than the friggin' law enforcement doing a thorough investigation or the FBI doing a thorough investigation and finding them. I've got more faith in the citizen or like somebody uncovering it that way than actual law enforcement. Because again, like how else have these police brutality, the big ones, the big major ones, like people have been breaking them. You know what I mean? They yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, some body cam footage obviously has played a role in a lot of them, but dude, people on their phones have been breaking these stories. So
apparently real big news gets broken in by somebody like at the local level. Like I think the Epstein case or the Epstein stuff was a case built up by somebody local, and it's not like, you know, they never get any type of recognition. So like, you know, big shout out to Patriot Act. I love that show. And last week tonight, I don't know which one it was that did it, but they did a whole segment on that, and that shit is pretty crazy when you just think about it, and more so that it's kind of like dying off. But even just the whole thing that like they'll make a story and then all the other big networks, they just grab their story and they don't give them any credit for it.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, that's fucking lazy.
That's what happened with the U.S. gymnastics team. I watched the documentary on HBO, and then now Netflix is gonna jump on and is gonna do their version of it with the whole coaches that were, you know, sexually assaulting U.S. gymnasts. You know, I mean, it was a local paper in Indianapolis. I think the Indianapolis Star or something like that. It's like 4 people in a room. They got like the first calls that, yo, there's this coach going around that's like doing this physical examination of performers. Yeah. That's inappropriate. And it was dismissed by the higher ups. And then, but they stuck with the story. They stuck with it, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then CNN got a hold of it, and MSNBC and Fox and BBC and so forth and so on. But like you said, the local level is where the big stuff gets broken. Even us as Penn State students, the Joe Paterno stuff. Like I watched the Joe Pa movie, and it broke down how Center Daily Times and local papers in Center County, they broke that story first. and it was swept under the rug and it was suppressed. But they had all the facts. Like, yo, this dude's out here raping boys. He's been doing it for a while. Oops.
Oops.
How are you the man? Maybe they're just ignoring you.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, most of these stories are broken by, and it makes sense because you know they're the ones on the ground. They know the local scene. They know where to go. They know who to ask.
Right.
Like it just makes sense. It's like, you know, you live in Brooklyn. You know, something happens. You know, down the street. You know, you may not have the resources of whomever elsewhere, but you're right there. So you just go start asking questions, do your research. You already know the lay of the land. It makes sense. I think the big news outlets are just like amplifiers. Like they're just the megaphones, you know?
Facts.
Scary
Actual.
time.
That's the rundown.